Hi, I'm Damian Journey, Global Chief Growth Officer at 72 and Sunny. Welcome to the Sunnyside series. We're coming to you live from New Orleans, Louisiana at Stagwell Sport Beach Clubhouse, where we're celebrating sport, culture, and fandom. And I couldn't be more excited than to be sitting here with my friend Elle Duncan, a fabulous ESPN personality. Welcome, Elle.
Hi, Damien. I just want to clear something up really quickly because I'm excited for this casual, cool, laid-back conversation. I look tense. It's just that I can't look casual because this skirt is a little bit short and I wasn't anticipating these chairs. So I want you to know I'm not being awkward as I sit up. I'm just being ladylike.
Well, you know what? I'm going to lean in. So together,
You can match my
I can match energy as opposed to me being laid back and you worried about.
I want you to vibe and be you. I just want people to know that I'm not like being weird. I'm
She's
just
so
being
many
lady.
things, but stiff and boring is not one. In
just
fact, that's a great place to start.
Okay.
So I consider myself a fan. I
thank
watch you all the time on ESPN. You're fabulous at your job, by the
Thank
way.
you.
But what really got us to this place was you and I happened to both be at the Clio Awards, I
Yeah.
believe, and you were hosting that event. We found ourselves upstairs with a group of people,
Yeah.
and you are the same person on stage, on camera, and in person, and that's just a magical quality. How do you do it?
Well, first of all, I want to reveal something to you. When I met you in that section on the rooftop at after the Clio Awards, we were stowaways. We showed up with no reservation, me and my group, and we just wanted to have a quick bite and a drink. And they were like, we don't have any tables. And we were like, what about that entire section? And they were like, oh, are you with blah, blah, blah from the Clios? And I just locked in on Clios. I had just hosted it. So I was like, yeah, we are.
Absolutely.
And they were like, oh, perfect. Then you guys are the first to arrive. And so we sit down, and then you all show up, and we were like, shit. And we were all very nervous that we were going to get kicked out.
Get
and how
outed?
embarrassing it would be. So when you recognized me, you saved me because I was like, okay, at the very least, one person here knows that, like, I'm not trying to, like, get in on the bill or get free food. We gave a credit card. We were like, whatever we drink, do not give it to them. I mean, it was very awkward. So I feel like now that we're friends, I can reveal to you that we 100% stole your section, and I'm so sorry for that.
You did not. The section was for people that
Oh, I
we
felt
liked.
so bad.
It was all good.
No, it was not for us. And then, like, these women are coming in, and they've got these heels on, and they're like, there's nowhere to sit. And we're, like, sitting in their section, and it just felt really bad. So
No.
I feel better now that I got that off my chest.
There's nothing to worry at all about.
sorry.
It worked out perfectly. You were wearing a Georgia a t-shirt, if I recall.
was, yeah.
And that's what kind of opened the door of the conversation, because as it turns out, I'm a football fan.
Yeah.
I went to the great University of Michigan, go Blue.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of the Georgia Bulldogs.
I am.
That's a great place to start. Why Georgia?
Well, I'm from Georgia, and, you know, I always joke every time someone's like, well, but did you go to Georgia? I'm like, no. But in Georgia, if you're from Georgia and you love football, then you root for Georgia.
Yeah.
Unless you go to Georgia Tech, and then, of course, you root for Georgia Tech. But other than that, you're sort of indoctrinated into the Georgia way.
Yeah.
And especially a suburban girl like me. So I've loved Georgia since forever. My parents are originally from Denver. My whole family is. They moved to Atlanta. They had me.
So was my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They went to East High School.
So my wife went to, Thomas Jefferson.
Okay. Oh my
think
gosh, my
TJ.
grandma used to live right near
Yeah,
TJ.
absolutely.
My cousins went there. Look at that.
World
Next,
small.
we're gonna find out we're kin.
Oh my goodness. Cousin L.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. We're not all related. But yeah. So I
Georgia
just always
fan.
love Georgia.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about college football, because you're one who's involved in the sport ecosystem
Sure.
in your job. What do you think about NIL and how it's shaping up?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great to have things that allow these young people to have power and is empowering. And here's my thing. Yes, has it gotten a bit out of control? Is there maybe a little bit, has it swung completely the other way? Sure. But I don't feel bad for the NCAA or any of these coaches or programs because we all saw this coming.
Yep.
They refused to do anything. They dragged their feet for years and years and years and years and years. They didn't pay them.
That's right.
And they profited off of their backs.
Mightily.
And they
Profited mightily.
Mightily. And basically said, like, in return, you get your education. Woohoo!
Yep.
Like, which is fine, but a lot of these people, like, that wasn't their option or something that they necessarily wanted to
That's
do,
right.
right?
That's right.
Like, that's not enough. And so I think they needed to profit while they could off of something that was bringing so much money to these programs. So because they didn't do anything,
Yeah.
Congress intervened. And then it was, the wild, wild west, and it was all, all bets are off.
Yep.
And I understand that it's out of control, and now you're trying to sort of put toothpaste back into the tube. But again, you're the one that squeezed it. So
Yeah.
I don't.
You're the one that squeezed
Like, you did
Excellent.
it. So I have a hard time feeling bad. I do think there needs to be some kind of regulation. It's very hard to build a program at threat of being able, to leave because someone's going to pay you $600, $700, $800 million. It is. But at the same time, these organizations are not lacking in money. These
Well,
programs
as
have
it turns out, you work for a corporation, and so do I, and we're all free agents to a degree, right? So all of American business just about has been built on the idea that someone can arrive with a better offer, and I have the option to exit. So this isn't different. This is like the one bastion of difference that's existed for the last 100 years. So this is just catching up in my mind at least, to the free agent market that most professionals live in. The only question is, are they professionals or they're student athletes? And there's a fine line.
And there it is. There is such a hesitation to embrace the idea that this is not an amateur sport.
Right.
College football is not amateurism anymore. It's 100% a professional league. And with that, treat it that way.
Yeah.
But I think because of the traditions of college, there's just this hesitation to want to let that go and to evolve. There's so much nostalgia for what was, and you should just be, proud to represent these colors. and there is some of that, sure. And some of that does need to exist.
Yeah.
And I get that. But for a long time, there's been rumors that these kids were going to only be motivated by one thing and only be motivated by this and the football couldn't be any better.
That's right.
So I think we've at the very least dispelled that rumor that these are just going to be a bunch of kids out for money grabs and we're not going to have These kids still at the end of the day put their lives on the line every time they step onto a field.
Time.
So I have a very hard time telling them what they should and should not be getting for that risk.
Facts. Mic drop. So you said it so eloquently. We can move all the way on.
Yeah.
So you're at ESPN. You've been at ESPN for a while. You're in this amazing role as a personality on the most important sports network we have. What's it like to be center stage all the time, sharing the news about the thing that Americans can't get enough of?
Well, it's a great distraction from a lot of the things that America would like to get away from.
And we can't get away from some of those things.
So that's nice. What I love about sports just in general is that it's not, I take my job seriously, but not sports, right? There are certainly serious times. Almost a year ago to the day now, I was on SportsCenter when we had a shooting at the Kansas City parade, right? There are days where it is very tough, and there are days where, but for the most part, this shit is so low stakes.
It's fun.
And so I love the fact that you can be wrong about something, and it doesn't impact someone's ability to live. If you're a doctor, or you can make big bold statements, and for the most part, they're steeped in sarcasm and entertainment. And I love this space so much. So what I hope to do is not just oversaturate the market with me, but rather try to have really informed opinions and honor these athletes who I don't know, who my job is to talk critically about them, and that's okay. But I try to do my best to honor that and them by working really hard to be prepared, researched, and never trying to be inflammatory just for the sake of being it. So I've really been allowed to do that at ESPN, and I dig it.
And what I love about this is that a lot of what you do, some parts of it at least, have been done for many, many years.
Yeah, of course.
But not been done by people like you. You're one of the only black women on the network, one of the ones that I see most often for sure, most prominent in many ways. And that's a very special place to be. It just so happens to be we live in a world where jobs like that are hard to come by, and people like us, frankly, have not been able to hold them very often.
Yeah.
So I think you carry a mantle and a torch, whether you want to or not, that we all appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you for what that burden must be.
Thank you. That means a lot. It's not a burden. It is a responsibility, but it's one that, I dared to think I could be a SportsCenter anchor because of Robin Roberts, right?
Yeah.
So and she felt the same way about who she looked up to, growing up in Louisiana and Alabama. So, so I appreciate those words though.
Well, let's talk about one other thing that's interesting. We're at Sport Beach Clubhouse here in Vegas. My Lord, I went back a year.
You see where he's at? You see where he's at?
I'm a year behind. Oh my gosh, we're in New Orleans, people.
We got to get over to the Caesars.
I know.
Feel like you're in Vegas at least.
That's what it was. I
Get to the
passed
Harrah's.
the casino on the way in. But you were with us at Sport Beach in Cannes last year. Tell us, what was your experience? What did you think about that?
I had no idea about Cannes Lions. I had just I knew about the film festival when I got invited by Disney to come and speak on behalf of women's basketball. I was like, cool. I Googled, what is Cannes Lions? I probably spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
And no, it was so dope. When I finally got there, the whole experience was super overwhelming to begin with. But someone described it to me as Cannes Lions is basically like spring break if you were an adult with an unlimited bank account. I was like, and then I like witnessed that. I was like, this is dope. But everybody just kept talking about Sport Beach. I was like, I thought they just meant like it was the beach and like they like set up like flag football.
Obstacle course. Yeah.
Like, go to Sport Beach. Like, duh, you're in sports. So if you just go to Sport Beach, like,
Yeah.
you'll be right at home. I was like, well, I don't really want to play volleyball.
Right.
But what it ended up being, in my mind, was just this whole entire, like, vibe. Like, it was cool because it was, like, equal parts an opportunity like it is right now, second time being at a Sport Beach, where you can sort of commune with people that are in the industry with you and have great conversations and catch up. There's a panel going on at the same time where you can really like reflect and learn from some of these pioneers and giants. There's like a flag football game going on over here with like Saquon Barkley or someone else famous. Like it was just, I don't know. It was almost like this cocoon of everybody feeling like they could kind of be themselves.
Yeah.
It didn't feel corporate-y. It didn't feel like a staged party. It just sort of felt like people wanted to hang out there.
Yes.
And you're getting that here too, where you just kind of have like people hanging, chilling, having a good time. I don't know. It was super fun, great experience. And yes, there is some sports on the beach.
Yeah.
But that's not quite literally what it is.
Yeah. When we had this idea for this thing, what we wanted was to give people a place to come together. Creative collaborations from the entire sport ecosystem. And when you think about the sport ecosystem, there's athletes and there's personalities, but there's also brands and there's media outlets and there's all these other people that are touching sport in some way. I'm in advertising, of course, so I'm on the side where we help brands connect to sport.
Yeah.
We've got a sports consultancy that has been born out of this ideation of the Sport Beach concept. But what I love most is allowing folks to come together in a way that they probably wouldn't otherwise.
Ever.
Like, there's athletes who've gotten deals on the sand.
Yeah.
This brand didn't know this athlete. They love what they had to say on stage. Next thing you know, this guy's walking away or woman's walking away with an actual deal with the brand. That's opening opportunities for people that they didn't have before. And to me, that's heartwarming.
Absolutely. Well, you're just like, I just met the CMO of State Farm and had the opportunity to tell her firsthand what their commitment has meant to women's basketball and to women's sports and how I'm so grateful for that. Something I would have never had the opportunity to do, right? You try to send that up the pipeline, but it is. And again, then I've seen colleagues here. My boss was here earlier, so thank you for inviting me because it looked really cool that I was here. It looked cool. I looked cool. I looked like I know all the
it's cool
things.
because you are here. We're cooler because of that.
We're cool.
Well, I hope, 72 and Sunny guy, I'm hoping that someday we get you in one of our spots. You have an excellent demeanor and aura.
Thank you.
And we like hanging out with cool people.
We
and
love that
you help
too.
make our brands more famous and successful.
Thanks.
And your pockets get
I'm
fed.
totally
so it's
into
awesome
it.
in the process.
That
Well,
sounds
look.
like fun.
We've got to wrap this thing up. So
do
let me
it.
just tell you thank you for joining us today and
thanks so
being
much,
an
Damon. I
advocate
really
and partner.
appreciate you.
For those of you out there, thanks for tuning in here from Sport Beach Clubhouse in New Orleans. Feel free to follow us, 72 and Sunny socials, Stagwell socials, and see more good content. Thank you so much.
Also, one more thing. When people tell you to sit up straight, that is a lie. Good posture actually is hurting my back right now. This is a horrible idea, and now I just want to slouch. So I just wanted to pass that on.
It is. Thanks for being clear.
It's better,
you want to slouch?
safer. That's bad.
I'm telling you, this is why I sit like
I got
this
a
in this
bad
chair.
back.
Yeah,
I see.
Exactly. Thanks, everybody.